Hey there, welcome back to another video. Today's canvas is a UNS 3N. I've had this tank running before, so the background was already applied underneath the ONF Flat Nano Plus light. So let's get to scaping. So just like any tank, I always start off with a layer of starter bacteria. I like to use the starter bacteria from 2 Hour Aquarius, and I'll leave a link in the video description for it. Next up, I like to use UNS Controsoil. Now, if you know my channel and me, you'll know that this is the only soil I use. I've found the best results with it, and I just personally think it's better than others. Now, in order to help kickstart the cycle, I'm going to use some used aquasol here. On top of the used aquasol, I'm going to use some root tabs. Again, I'm going to use the stuff from 2 Hour Aquarius, and I like to break them up to maximize the amount of space I can cover. Once the root tabs were placed, it was time to get the hardscape in. And these stones were locally collected, so I have no idea what type of stone they are or what the name could be, but they were collected locally in eastern Washington state. Once the mother stone was in, I wanted to add some more aqua soil just to build some height in the back of the tank. This is going to be a very simple hardscape layout. I'm only going to use 2 stones in here just because it is a small tank and I want to add a lot of plants into it. Once the hardscape was done, I added just a tiny bit more of aqua soil just to cap it off. Okay, so I think hardscape's pretty good right now. Normally I would like to go with like a 3 stone hardscape system, but the stones I had, I didn't have space for 3. I only had space for 2. And with the scape in mind that I want to do, I think this will look pretty good on its own for the hardscape. The hardscape's not going to be the centerpiece of this tank, the shrimp are. So I want to make sure that I don't take away from them. Now, typically, this is the part of the video where you would plant the tank and fill it up and get it running. But in this case, I'm not going to plant the tank just yet. I'm gonna dark start this tank. And although I put that old soil in the tank that will help essentially cycle it almost instantly, I wanna play it safe because these are gonna be advanced shrimp that I'm keeping. So I wanna play it safe. I'm gonna dark start it. So let's get it filled up, get the filter started, and come back to it when the dark start's done.
For the filter on this setup, I'll be using the UNS Blitz, which is super easy to use and super convenient to have on a nano tank. I've got a video describing this filter and all that you need to know about it. I'll link it below as well as on the screen here. Once the tank was filled with water, it was time to let the filter run and have the dark start do its thing.
So it's been a couple of weeks, more specifically, I think it's been about 4 weeks now, and the tank is ready to be planted. The dark start is complete. All the levels of the tank, the ammonia, nitrite, and nitrate are all balanced perfectly now, which means it's safe to add fish or shrimp in this case. That being said, I need to finish the planting. So I've already chucked a lot of Rotalas in here. I think there's Rotala orange juice, blood red, and just Rotala green in here. Rotala rotundifolia, I believe specifically. I've also got some Alternanthera rainecki that I've been growing in here, and these are just plant trimmings from other tanks, but I'm not sure if they'll stay or not. So I'm gonna kind of take everything out and then get the full tank planted. Now in this specific scape, I wanted it to be plant heavy. So a lot of Rotalas are gonna be in the back, and then I'm gonna trim short Rotalas and put them as kind of the middle ground. Now, the foreground, I'm gonna be trying a carpeting plant that I've never used before, and that's the Glossostigma elianthoides. I got 2 tissue culture cups from the folks over at Boost Plant. They are a channel sponsor, so make sure to check them out. I'll leave a link in the video description, but they're where I get all my plants. I've gotten all my plants from them exclusively for about 4 years now. They're hands down the best place in the United States to get plants. So once again, check them out. A massive thank you to the folks over at Boost Plant for sponsoring this channel and helping builds like this come to life. So with that being said, let's get these plants prepared and get them planted and finish the scape.
One week later, and the tank looks like this. The plants are healthy and thriving, and I added some Caridina crystal red shrimp as inhabitants of this tank. They're doing really well, and I'm really happy with how this tank has turned out. That's all for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.